Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. This is being filmed on Thursday, August 6th, 2026. Today we're pulling from the Gilded Tarot cards. We're starting off with the Seven of Wands, and this is calling you to take the higher ground. We got a lot of seven, so I feel like enlightenment. So we are heading to Lionsgate Portal. I feel like it's like a full moon energy. I think it's 3 days before, during the 8-8 portal, which would be the most potent, and then 3 days after. So if you're not able to manifest or like watch what you're thinking or you're saying, where you want to see significant change, go follow Anastasia on TikTok. She says that she uses this time to change her life. And she's does her candles and stuff like that. So if that kind of what she does resonates with you, then definitely, give her a listen, because she is quite intelligent and I love the way that she words things. Like I put her voice clip for, if you follow my channel, for the daily kind of like guidance for the day. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it's nice to hear that, especially when you wake up in a foul mood or something. It's just like nice to read something that lifts your spirits, and I definitely feel like she's got that kind of energy where she lifts your spirits. So I feel like if anything is weighing on your mind, a situation you want to change, family members you want to pray for, yourself, like I just posted the previous video, invest in yourself, invest in your future, because Emily Sky was just doing a podcast about this. She's a fitness guru, and she's a fitness guru to the stars and everyday people. Like, she shares her wealth of knowledge and body positivity with everybody. And the one thing is, she's like, why do we always put ourselves last? Because that's who we are. We're nurturers. You know what I mean? But it's just like, giving yourself love every single day. Is that getting making your favorite coffee? Is that taking 5 minutes for yourself? Whatever it is, whatever you need to do to give yourself love every single day. You know what I mean? I feel like with this seven of like taking a higher ground in a situation, I feel like it's usually we have this reactive, we're reacting to the situation, not to the person, not, you know what I mean? It's just, that's where it's just like, I feel like this is a growing point. Remember when they were showing the wand and I said, I felt like there's a new seedling here and there's a rebirth here. And I feel like it's like, we're not repeating cycles. So it's like taking our emotions out of the situation and not completely breaking down or anything like that. Yeah, it's a stressful situation, but like Yahweh Yeshua and my dad has been guiding me that things are going to turn around. They are turning around, and that's, we got to be patient. We all expect things to turn around, and the moment we utter the words, we have to have faith. Our faith alone, whomever you believe in, even if it's your higher self, is what's going to get you to where you need to be, and hard work. Five of Cups energy, I feel like it's like you can concentrate on the situation or concentrate what makes you happy. Like, literally, one thing I do like about Facebook, the Book of Faces, is that, the reminder pages, where I would post the children more and seeing them when they were big. I miss that time so much. Oh my gosh. When we go out on our little adventures and, going to African Lion Safari, going to the Toronto Zoo and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. Dancing around and singing, art, all the stuff. Making forts, just loving life, But that's what I mean. It's just, especially with myself, it's so weird because there's no knockings of, a passing anniversary. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I definitely feel, you know what I mean? It's just like, this is how grief is, you know what I mean? You sit there and you build around it. It's always going to be a part of you. It's not as big as when it first hit. I do not wish this on anyone. But it's just like certain points, especially with this time period. You can't help but wonder, like, if you were here, things may be different. Who knows? So this is where I feel like, the sadness or the heaviness of a situation is changing. And, it is the Five of Cups. Change and transformation. And I love that it's like the Four of Wands. And I feel like that's the thing. Like, clean slate, start all over again. You know what I mean? Rebuilding. Like, that's all we can do. Whatever happened, come together. Let's find a solution. Thankfully that I got the downloads that I needed, and I was open to receiving messages, and I was able to put it into, you know what I mean? I was just like everything I could think of, you know what I mean? It's just like I ran out of what to do anymore. It's just like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's where the Four of Wands is just like, I feel like protection. You know what I mean? When we're in this low vibrational time, when we go through things, like, you know, if you watch The Passion of the Christ, the adversary is there looking for an opportune moment to jump in. And I feel like that's why they're saying, like, you know, this protection. You know, 88 Poral, that's another thing you call in is protection. Dragonflies will be significant. I feel like this will be either like myself with videos where you can see dragonflies, stickers, or, you know, maybe with myself it's like we ordered a bunch of dragonflies as well. But I feel like actually outside and like for us, August, they are like huge. You know, August through September, like especially like this time of year heading to fall. But they're absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. We actually, unfortunately, we had a dragonfly get caught in the house, and we tried to capture it like in a jar safely and to release it, and I wasn't able to capture it. I was just, you know, poor thing, you know, died in the house, and I had it for a long time. I just, when we moved, I don't know what happened to it, but, you know, it's just significant meaning. I feel like a positive omen. I feel like buzzing around the house and yourselves is like, you know, also that, like, kind of like fairy dust, you know, when like the video I first posted today was like protect your abracadabra. Like, if you believe in magic, if you believe in miracles, whatever your belief system is, do not let anyone freaking come in and try to hinder it or take away from it. You know what I mean? Like, this is your time. This is, you live your life the way you want. As long as you're not hurting anyone or yourself, it's just like, live your best life. Wherever you put your magic into, live that best life. I feel like this is where, like, the logical side, and I love the doves. This is a sign of peace. So there you go. So I feel like it's, you know, where, you know, Deborah Silverman has taught us from The Missing Element, where it's taking the emotions out of the situation. Or I feel like it's like sometimes, especially as a parent, you kind of have blinders on when it comes to your kids sometimes. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's like, you know the truth, you know? So I feel like that's where she's just like coming in and she's just, or a situation where we're kind of I don't feel like we're oblivious to it. I just feel like, you know, there's kind of like a bias here. You know what I mean? If it wasn't your friend, it wasn't your family, it wasn't your children, you know, your partner, it's like you wouldn't be, you know, kind of as understanding. You know what I mean? I feel it's like me, very cutthroat. You know what I mean? But I feel like this is where usually she's in a seated position. You know what I mean? But I feel like you know, the yin and yang, the balance is coming in here. You know what I mean? I think that's a cat. Is that a cat or a dog? That looks like a Shih Tzu. I think it's supposed to be one of those long-haired cats, but yeah, I think it's a cat. So cats may be significant. That's so crazy because it looks like a Shih Tzu. Like, we have a Shih Tzu Yorkie, and I swear, he looks like a freaking... We were able to, like, groom him really nice, and, like, really, like, I swear, he looks so stunning. Like, his stature, like, the way he just... I was like, damn, you should have been definitely a show dog. Like, he has such a loving personality, and, like, honestly, if you are gonna get your kids a dog, you know, obviously where they're not, you know, when they're bigger and they understand not to be rough with the dog, but get them a Shih Tzu Yorkie. They have the best personalities. They are so loving and cuddly. Like, oh my gosh, like, we really lucked out with Sunny. Like, he is a huge blessing in our life. But you know what I mean? I just feel like, you know, I feel like a time of peace. I know that they're saying, like, there is going to be, see, they're saying a disruption. So we've been talking about this disruption, disturbance, but it's like building around it. You know what I mean? Like pouring you know what I mean? Pouring into that cup, but it's just like at the same time, I'm not exhausting myself. I'm not burning myself out. So this is the thing, you know, that's what I was saying. This full moon felt like shadow. Like, I can't help but, like, with visions that I've seen, it's like something crashing into the moon, and I don't know if it's going to split into two. I don't know if other people have been picking that up. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like it's staged. You know what I mean? Like, but for as far as I can remember, I always remember, like, especially, like, vivid dreams where it's like there's, like, a significant flood. And we lived on the 8th floor of an apartment building, and it was like to the 6th floor. Like, that's pretty high. And I remember looking, and the sun was out, and you could see, Saturn in the sky, and you could see, I don't know what the other planet is. I don't know if it was Jupiter or not, but you could see planets. But I remember also, like, they were talking about two suns, and then China came out with their faux, to produce more energy. Not, I guess you could call it a faux sun. But I just feel like, like you see, all of a sudden you just hear something crashes, and, I don't know why they would do that. I just feel like I was talking to someone like this, not to get political or anything like that, but I just feel like a lot of shadow because a lot of them are getting older. I don't know what the hell they're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? But it's just like they're getting closer and closer to that, forever sleep. And it's just like, they're doing the most. You know what I mean? It's just like, ugh, like, I don't understand people. But I just feel like, watch that shadow. And this is definitely a choice, like hangs in the balance, very Libra energy. And, the previous card was like, the Queen of Swords, which is like, cutting through the truth of the situation. Like, definitely telling me some truth and not all of it nice, but you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just like, doing the best you can. I'm not going to abandon the situation at all, but it's just like, just seeing it for what it is. And again, the wild unknown, not the wild unknown, enchanted forest, the buck, where it's just like you can't see your way forward, or you know what I mean, can't see the truth, and it's being open to those messages where it's just like, you know what I mean? It's not like they were saying, illusion. Major change and transformation that leads to the sun. They're showing the number 7, so I definitely feel like enlightenment. More information is coming in the situation. You know what I mean? It's just like, this situation doesn't define everything. This doesn't define the future. This is a blip. This is just kind of like worst case scenario. They're like, but you saw them through. I didn't. That was Yahweh Yeshua. I didn't do anything. I'm just a participant. You know what I mean? So, definitely, they're like watching people's energies. Because not everyone's there for you. As much as they like to cheer and clap for you, they're not there for the right reasons. So again, with the number 7, with the 7 of Cups, and that's what I was saying, where it has that 5 of Cups, where it's just like, we could, feed into the situation. But I feel like if you feed into it, like, you know what I mean? You're fueling the fire. I feel like that's where the, fire energy, like we're in a heat wave as well. That's why I was like, the worst timing, you know what I mean? So the last heat wave is what kind of kicked this whole thing off. It was just like the perfect storm. So, you know what I mean? This is where it's just like gaining more knowledge in the situation. But I feel like, again, it's just like, this does not define the future. This does not define life. You know what I mean? Watching The Fifth Element, and it's just like, time doesn't mean anything. Life does, but I just feel like manipulation, So that's why I'm just like, where spirit is just like, you gotta take care of you too. You know what I mean? Like, you burn out, like, what'll happen? You know what I mean? This has happened before. You know what I mean? It's just, unfortunately, a pattern. Page of Swords. So, cutting through the truth. I kid you not. I know these are bluebirds, but they look like blue jays to me. They don't have the tufty but on their head. But I swear to you, like, going out watering the flower, it's a heat wave. The flowers are crispy. They need, they need some relief. I feel them. But, the blue jay just, flew right in front of my face. Like, not attack mode or anything like that, but just like, kind of like, getting like, I'm here. So like your birds of the air will be significant. Like they're talking about dragonflies. So eagles and hawks are significant for us. So are blue jays. When we lived in Ontario, it was very rare to see this pair of blue jays. Cardinals were very significant. I haven't heard the cardinal lately. But you know what I mean? It's just been really, really toasty outside. But, hopefully as things go next week, we'll be able to enjoy that time, and maybe we'll hear them a little bit more. But you know what I mean? I just feel like if you're, and I know that people are like, oh my God, if you're the type of person that gets downloads, deliver messages like Odin, If you know, you know. Definitely try to hone into that energy. Seven of Swords, deceit. That's why I'm just like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's why it's just like, don't pour or add to the situation with the three, like, you know what I mean? Because it's five of cups, but like when they're saying like concentrate on the happiness, concentrate on what makes you happy. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? There's more at play here. You know, I feel like it's gonna change the situation. You know what I mean? A lot of sevens here. That's what I'm saying. Enlightenment. That's what I'm saying. Illusion. Like, you know what I mean? Where they're showing the 10 of Wands. It's like you weren't supposed, like this was supposed to intimidate you. This was supposed to do something. And it didn't happen. You know what I mean? Because we were just like, okay, this. Unfortunately, I went through this situation and I'm just like, what did I do? They don't want to do those things. When I had a panic attack, what brought me out? Putting a cool cloth on my chest, on my forehead, on the back of my neck. Like doing all the things. You know what I mean? Everything in your wheelhouse. Fox. So funny enough, there's an account that I follow on X. I think it's Draven. And they had a fox. And I dreamt about a fox before I got that card. But he reposted the fox again. I guess he's like zhuzhing it up or something. But that's what I'm saying. Sneaky like a fox. Cunning like a fox. Like, foxes are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. And funny enough, I saw a TikTok video yesterday with a eagle and a fox sitting on a park bench. I don't know if someone befriended them and feed them or whatever, but everyone's like, oh my gosh. Everyone in the native council is like, oh, there's something. It's just like, oh my gosh. But you know what I mean? It was just, that's what I'm saying. There's some deceit going on here. That's why I'm just like, you know what I mean? It's just doing the best we can. That's all we can do. Do the best you can in the situation, but don't feed into it in a negative way. Don't feed into the narcissism. A rebirth in our life. I love the hands, the way that they are. This looks like Mars energy. A lot of people that I was doing personal readings with, they were showing Mars, and it was like, I can't remember all the words. But if you look it up, like, because what a skill that I picked up, and looking at what's the number, like the numerology number that is associated with the planet when they come, especially if you're a healer, hopefully that resonates with you. But when you're reading for people, giving them personal readings, and a planet comes up, it's just like, right now they're showing Uranus. What is the numerology number associated with Uranus? You know what I mean? You would look that up and it would give you the messages. So I feel like if that resonates with you, Mars or Uranus, it's like, look that up. Go into your search engine and look that up. What's the message? What are they trying to tell you? This is why I'm saying, you know what I mean? With especially the rebirth, but this deceit card, it's just like you're trying to build something, and I feel like this is a constant thing. Every time we try to take 10 steps forward, 10 steps, something happens and tries to pull us back. Ratatouille energy. I swear to God, it's just, did we pull from this card this week? This must have been last week, but I'm pretty sure we got the 9 of Cups as well. But it kind of looks like Hank from Breaking Bad. It's instead of the cup, it's his beer. I love the candles, so I feel like Lionsgate Portal. We are, Northern Hemisphere getting into the cooler temperatures, hopefully soon, because we're in a heat wave right now. But, lighting candles and, I would definitely air out the house. Like, if you're like myself in this kind of heat wave, or when it gets cooler, like, sage the house, open all the windows, sage it, and then, get your incense, close all the windows, incense, candles, you know what I mean? Changing that energy. I definitely feel like there's a cleanse that needs to happen. But I feel like this is what they're saying. Like, cheers. I feel like it's just because it's like you did it, kind of, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't help people because we're like, oh, we want accolades and da-da-da-da-da, you know what I mean? Or we want shout-outs or whatever. Like, no. You know what I mean? We just want to make sure that everybody's good. Like, not a gatekeeper. We're bringing everybody along with us. And I feel like, 25, I feel like people will be definitely different than they are now. That's what I'm saying. Don't let temporary situations define everything. Ace of Cups, let the universe fill your cup. In any cycle that you're going through, they are showing the cycle of the moon. So we are, like, the 29th of July was the full moon. We are heading in August. There is a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. So solar eclipse, I believe, is first, which will be on the 12th. And then I think around the 27th, 29th will be the full moon, which will be lunar eclipse. I love the koi fish, so this is definitely knockings for my girlfriend where koi fish are significant. I feel like if you koi fish are significant to you, so like if you like the Asian culture, or like with myself, like I always think of Chester Bennington because he always had that on. He had that on his upper arm, and because he's a Pisces, he's a fiery Pisces. Um, but I feel like with that, it's just like make sure they're facing up. So maybe this is like significance of getting a tattoo, but make sure the kois are always facing up as a symbol of good luck. This could also be a symbol of Pisces, but I feel like I feel like those aren't koi fish. They look like goldfish or the fighting fish, but these are definitely koi fish. I feel like because they're saying it feels like sometimes we're underwater, so like kind of in our emotions, like again the Linkin Park song, "Why does everything have to be so heavy?" Um, but I feel like that's where they're just like, even though in the heaviness, allow the universe, be open to the universe filling your cup, be open to to being spoiled, being open to to for blessings. Very, they're showing in my mind's eye the star card where it's like big blessings and small blessings, and I feel like this is a time of blessings, right? So be, they're saying significant. So be open to those things, and it's technically Shabbat when Lionsgate Portal happens as well. And I'm not pushing this on anyone, but it is a very highly potent time. Robbie Allen talks about this. And he's just like, during Shabbat, obviously people are going to pray for themselves if they're going through some, but it's like very potent to pray for others. And I definitely do my distance healing during that time and everything, because people that are going through things, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I feel like that's what they're saying, because you pour so much into everybody else's cup, because you do so much for others. This is not an ego trip, but that's why they're saying, just like, don't look out to the world for people to fill your cup. I definitely get that from my youngest son, where we're both air signs. But, I feel like this is where, allow Yahweh, Yeshua, divine creator, Gaia, Mother Earth, higher self, whoever you believe in, this is a potent time to be believing in something, even if it's your higher self, depending on them. In my situation, I was just like, why is this happening? And I kind of went back to when Shane passed away. I was asking that, and it's like, you shouldn't be asking, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, give me the information that I need to rectify this situation. So, you know what I mean? We're on the mend. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. It's significantly better. And I feel like it's going to take time. And babying is what they're saying, which is fine. You know what I mean? Whatever. But again, making time to rest and rejuvenate. Because I'm also going through my shit too. You know what I mean? It's just like, so I got the soya, finally. You do what resonates with you, but if you are one of the baddies going through pre or menopause, whatever stage you are, I don't know yet. I don't feel as hot anymore. But, obviously it's a heat wave. I'm not going to put, but I feel like, because like it would be 22 outside and I would feel like it's like this. So, you know what I mean? I'm also using my wild yam cream. I wasn't using that either, and I started using it again just because it's hot. You know what I mean? When you put lotion on and you get all hot and sticky, it's like, ugh. Like, who wants no. Don't want to add to that. But I wanted to share that just in case if anyone, follows and it's like, yeah, I'm going through the same shit, and it's just like, yeah, go ahead, and you have to take 7 of them a day. Don't take them. So if I have a thyroid thingy going on, so if you take a medication, like an actual prescription, take that, wait 2 hours, and then take your soya. So if that resonates with you, definitely try it. I'd rather go the natural route. I remember my aunt's, I believe that's what she was taking as well, all the way back then, but I'm sure she paid a lot more for it, because it's not like now where Amazon delivers to your door, and you know what I mean? So just be, you know what I mean? I just feel like, temporary comfort, you know what I mean, for now, and then may pay for it later. So with me, it's just like, it's uncomfortable, but, battling through it, just like life. But I love with the mind's eye as well, because definitely right now, like showing the star card and stuff. So if you are able to, go check out Sound Healer Cody, because some of them, there are longer. He has longer videos, but if you could get those little snippets where it's like maybe 3 minutes, 7 minutes, it's like you have 3 or 7 minutes. Like you could scroll, you can watch my video, pause the video if you have to. You know what I mean? Come back and watch the rest. But you know what I mean? Go and you can save it to your, or repost it, and that way you can keep, with that. Maybe build a habit with it. Maybe it'll resonate with you. Unfortunately, like Spirit said, that would be a temporary rest and rejuvenation. So I definitely got in my head when I had some time off there. That's my own fault. You know what I mean? I could not sit. I couldn't keep still. Because my life, like, especially like, right now it's just like, go, 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 because there's so many things going on. And then that situation added to it. But they're showing like worst case scenario. Watch it this time, especially with that devil card, where you're feeding your energy into. If your mind tries to take you to a situation that gives you anxiety or makes you feel uncomfortable, stop yourself in the track as soon as you catch yourself. And be like, I'm calling back that energy. Nope, I'm not feeding into that. Like, you know what I mean? Do everything you can to fix that. Because people are trying to rob you of your peace. You're on the brink of something, And I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this last night. I'm just like, we were like, why are people so stupid? Like, do this kind of crap, wish harm on people. And I'm like, if they put that effort into succeeding in life, you know what I mean? They would be in the same position or even better than us. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't get it either. But you know what I mean? It's like, that's why I was saying, like, do a cleanse. If you're in the northern hemisphere and it's hot like it is now, you know what I mean? Let's not open the windows and let all that in the house. You know what I mean? Be comfortable. Once the air is better, open the windows, do a cleanse, then shut everything, light your inside, do everything. Basement, every single floor. Whatever you have access to, do it. If you want to do it at night and cleanse the outside of your home as well, definitely do it. Protection. Actually, it's Thankful Thursday today, so we do our hymns. And the one prayer is like visualizing, calling in all the angels and everything and putting a protective sword into the home. So that's why I feel like that's what they're just saying. There's going to be a little rest and rejuvenation here, but, it's going to be time to pick up the sword again, which is unfortunate. But what they're saying, we're going to put it down. What they're showing, putting it down. So that's good. Definitely, that's why I feel like it's like, the universe pours into your cup, but I definitely feel like this is where they're showing putting up your feet, relaxing, sitting outside, grounding yourself. That is something I have yet to do this year. So hopefully everything cooperates and we're able to do that. You know what I mean? But it's just life be lifing. Take care of yourself, rest and rejuvenation. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick card pull. May have a safe, blessed weekend. Stay nice and cool and refreshed. Make sure you give yourself a little bit of love this weekend. May the universe bless you good.